everyone. How are you? How are you? This is the Taryn Lamp Show. It is season number 9. The last episode of the season, which makes it season number 9, episode 15, which makes it our 135th episode. This is episode number 135. Thank you all so much. This is again season 9, episode 15, but in total, episode 135. Thank you all so much for the support, the love. 130. Thank you so much for the support. Check us out on all of those platforms and make sure you're liking, following, sharing, and subscribing. So let's get Miss Bina in here. Let me see. Is it coming through on your end? There you are. Hi, Bina.
Hi, I am so sorry. Can you hear me okay?
What?
Oh, I couldn't get connected. You kept pausing. So, hi.
Oh, how are you doing?
I am wonderful. Happy Tuesday.
I know. Happy Tuesday. So you guys, this is the Taryn Lamb Show. You're our 135th episode. I just realized
what
that
an
today.
Honor.
So 135 episodes in. So I really appreciate you coming on and sharing your story.
Absolutely. I am so honored to be here, Taryn, and thank you for allowing me to be your 135th guest. That's amazing.
I know.
That is amazing.
I know. I'm so excited. So Bina, let's get started because time goes fast. So as you and I talked, we are a member of one of the same tribes. Yeah. I'm going to let you share that story and how you got started. But most importantly, we're a member of that tribe, but we're also helping, right? We're also reaching back and helping. And you've started a wonderful organization that does just that, particularly in Black communities. And I want you to just real quick share your story, and then let's get into your organization. And I know you guys just had an event too, so I wanted to hear all about that as well. So tell us a little bit about your story and what you started here.
Sure, absolutely. So it's a long story short, literally. I would tell you, I found my lump. I found a lump maybe 10 years before I was actually diagnosed. So that first lump led to several years of testing and surveillance. I was not diagnosed with breast cancer at that time, but I was diagnosed with two things: extremely dense breast tissue and fibrocystic breast disease, which basically meant I would have lumps in my boobs every month around my cycle. And so that led to my first mammogram. I was not 40 yet. I was 35 at the time. And it led to my first mammogram. And that was great. But I also was able to get mammograms from that point forward because of those two things, because they wanted to surveil me for the rest of my life, pretty much. So 10 years later, I went in for my on my mammogram anniversary. That's important. Every March, I went in for my mammogram, regardless of what I believed, which I didn't believe I can get breast cancer. And I went in, and it was abnormal for the first time. From there, I was diagnosed with stage 0 ductal carcinoma in situ. And it was hormone positive.
You're going a little blurry, just so you know.
It was.
You're a little blurry.
Oh, am I? Hold on. Is this better?
And is it? Okay. Yeah. Tell me, if you can see her better now and hear her better.
Oh, no.
Go ahead. You were when you went back over there, you went blurry again.
Okay, over here.
I think right there, it's not as blurry. Yeah, we're staying right there.
Okay, I'm not moving.
Yeah, that's okay.
That's okay. So should I continue from where I started? So, okay.
Yes, you were diagnosed. I did hear you. Okay. But yes.
So I was diagnosed with stage 0 ductal carcinoma in situ. That led to a treatment plan of 15 rounds of radiation. What else I have to do? 15 rounds of radiation, a diagnostic mammogram every 6 months, and I had to take tamoxifen, which was blocking my hormones from my body from releasing estrogen and progesterone anymore. So I went into menopause right away. But the most important thing is I had to get a second lumpectomy. From there, I did all of that. I rang the bell in October. So that was like March, April, May, October. I went in, I rang the bell. I was in survivorship, living my best life. And then it was time for my first diagnostic mammogram. So I went in, again, I'm in survivorship. I didn't expect to get a diagnosis, anything other than a clean bill of health. But to my surprise, it came back abnormal again. So at that point in time, I'm like, you know what, listen. And the funny thing is, the doctor said to me, let's start with a biopsy. Because one thing I didn't share is that I had a biopsy in my first diagnosis that came back benign. And that led to a lumpectomy. So the first thing that the doctors wanted to do is another biopsy. And I said, no, we're going to go straight to the lumpectomy, because the lumpectomy told me that I had breast cancer when that benign biopsy did not. So moving further along, it came back the exact same thing. Go ahead.
First of all, I love that you advocated for yourself.
Yep.
And I'm, you're going to get into what you started, but advocating for yourself is
key.
Was key there.
Absolutely.
Critical, actually.
And say that again. Can you hear me? See me?
Oh. Yeah.
Okay.
You're a little blurry, but I can hear you.
Okay. So the last thing is that led to a double mastectomy on March 6, 2020. And I did a double mastectomy with immediate reconstruction. And there's nothing immediate about it, because it was a 3 more surgeries. But for me, it was another 5 surgeries, because I wanted them to get this reconstruction correct so I can feel good about myself and be healthy, but most importantly, be happy with the results. So that's my diagnosis. That was March 6, 2020. So, yeah.
Well, you've come a long way from there. But tell me about the organization you started, and tell me about what made you start it. Because there's one thing to have, I'm in the club too, and have something. And then there's another thing to actually take the next step and start something to help others. So tell me about the organization that you started and why you started it.
Okay.
Can you hear me? Maybe I need to move.
I can hear you. You're a little blurry to me, so I'll see some of the comments, but I can hear you just fine. So
let me see if I move. What happened? Move around. Go ahead.
So what happened was March 6. I focused on March 6, 2020, and stopping my story there, because one of the things was a week after my double mastectomy, the world shut down. So COVID was upon us, and it was pre-vaccine time. And during that time, the world was very quiet. So my mom got locked in with me. That was a blessing. But during that time, I said, you know what, let me reflect on this journey, because I was mad that it came back. I was mad that I had breast cancer. I was a little ashamed of it too. But it was during that time that I realized that Black women are dying at higher rates of breast cancer than any other race. Also, I took a genetic test and I didn't have any BRCA gene mutations. So how did I get this? My mother didn't have it. My grandmother didn't have it. I didn't know anybody that had breast cancer that looked like me. But most importantly, I didn't have any support from people who were actually survivors. So I did some research. I was like, you know what? This has to change, because I did one post. I said, hey, I survived breast cancer. And I swear, Black women came out the woodworks. Me too. I had the same diagnosis, or I had breast cancer too, and all these things. And I'm like, sis, where were you? Do you know that your story?
So it looks like, I don't mean to interrupt you, but one, they said they can see us better. So hopefully both of us got in the better spot. Good. And then the other, someone else, citizens.pink, says same. Yeah. So they can relate. And then someone says peace and love, definitely need to advocate for yourself. And then people are telling us that they can see and hear us much better. So that's good. Right. But it sounds like there's other your same journey as well. Yeah. So yeah, go ahead. Other people coming out of the woodwork.
Yeah, other people coming out of the woodwork. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to create a community for us. I lived in Brooklyn at the time, from Chicago, but lived in Brooklyn at the time. And I was like, you know what? I want to start an organization, because one, why are Black women dying 40% higher at higher rates than any other race? Why is that? Is it because, one, we don't talk about it? Is it because we don't think it's a Black person's disease? Like, what is the reason? And so I wanted to start an organization to help bring that 40% down in some kind of way, even if it's just telling my story to one person and they will hear something and do something as a result of it. So I really wanted us to have a community, have a space where we can be open about it, but also encourage other women to share their stories, encourage other women to help each other, because us keeping it to the vest, like it was a very lonely experience for me. My mom was there with me. I think everybody was going through some loneliness in COVID, but to not know anyone that can say, you know what, girl, put some Vaseline on that thing, or put some cocoa butter, whatever the things we do in our community. I didn't have anybody to tell me that. So I wanted to start something to encourage that. So I wanted to, one, make sure that we understood that, because I really and firmly, vehemently believe, will stand on it with 10 toes and hands and 10 fingers down, that I couldn't get breast cancer because my mother didn't have it, my grandmother didn't have it. I believe that. That is a myth. That's a myth.
So then how much time frame from you were diagnosed to when you started the organization? How did you come up with the name, and what obstacles did you have along the way?
Sure. So I had my mastectomy March 6, 2020. AfroPink was actually founded April 7th, 2020. So if you look us up, you'll see that the start date is April 2nd, because I was on it. I was already working on it based upon my first diagnosis. And I was like, you know what, I'm going to make it a thing. But I didn't launch until October 1st, 2020, because I wanted to, it took me that time to have the courage to want to share with the world that, you know, I had both my breasts cut off, and I had to think about like the health insurance implications and all the things. And I didn't want people to look at me differently and not find me attractive. I don't know, a lot of things going through my head. And finally I said, you know what, this can help someone. So those were the things that really pushed me. But the obstacles I had was just COVID. So I was like, how do I launch a nonprofit in the pandemic? So I was like, you know what, I'm in tech. We're going to do this online. So we launched it online. So navigating through the same troubles that everybody else was during COVID, like not having not being able to be outside and around other people, not being able to give hugs. The women would literally cry from fear or cry from hearing my story, and I couldn't even reach out and touch them. And that was something that was, something that was hard as well. But I worked for the hospital where I was diagnosed and treated. So I knew a little bit about navigating. I learned along the way because my colleagues were doctors. So I had a lot of help along the way. And I realized that that's a blessing, because it's not something that everybody has access to. And that was another reason why I wanted to start AfroPink, is because I wanted to be able to be a resource. I want to help you along your journey, regardless of what stage of a cancer journey you're in.
So I want to just quick go to our comment section. And again, you guys, this is the Taryn Lamb Show, season number 9, episode number 15. Yeah. Bina from the founder of AfroPink, is here with us, sharing her story and how she started the organization. And she is our 135th episode. So season 9, episode 15, in total 135 episodes. Make sure you are following the show, following us here on Instagram. And then also her episode, along with others, are available on YouTube, the Taryn Lamp, and Spotify, and Apple Podcast, the Taryn Lamp Show. So comments we have, ML5287 says, oh my gosh, this was me. Clarissa _EIA says, yep, no one can relate. Citizens.pink.info says, it's a process while going through it. You are awesome. Diagnosed with lung cancer, and they thought it was sarcoidosis.
Wow.
And I never smoked. So do you help with patient navigation? So there's a question for you.
Absolutely. I work with NYU. I have a patient navigator that comes to all of my events. Even if the events are not breast cancer specific, I bring breast cancer awareness with me everywhere I go. So absolutely. We work with the Barbara Welter's breast health and patient navigation services with Ms. Sheila Willis, and she comes to all of my events. I can be talking about leadership, technology, but you can go in the back. My table will be back there, as well as her table, and you can sign up for a mammogram anywhere in the city of New York City. So, yes, I do.
Nice. ML5287 says, and I was all by myself at home during COVID, and I said to myself, this is a horrible feeling to deal with alone. let's see, Mia Motorcycle. Maybe, I hope I'm saying that right. You're amazing. My cancer sister.
Yes.
So, I mean, I think to your point, there's a lot of support,
Mm-hmm.
right? Well, let me say this. There's a lot of people who can relate,
Mm-hmm.
right? That's where we're asking ourselves the question today about the
Mm-hmm.
support and the advocating for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think there is this part, I know even when I was diagnosed and when I told people were two different things.
Mm-hmm.
And so to your point of, you have to be willing to be honest with
Mm-hmm.
yourself first, that you even have
Right.
it, go out and to seek this, to seek any
Mm-hmm.
resources, right? So you are kind of like, to your point, like, it's not me, like you're kind of in
Right.
denial. What were some of the obstacles that you faced? Like, I'm sure, I mean, I can't, other than the fact that you were diagnosed and you came right out the gates running, what were some obstacles that you faced along the way, as far as either starting the organization or even, within yourself, that maybe, could have held you back from pushing go?
Listen, so just the intricacies of COVID, like trying to like fax my, I had to fax in my articles of incorporation. I had to fax it like 45 times before someone was in the place to actually pick it up. I had to call. So that was some challenges, but I got over that. I just did every morning. I would get up and fax them again. So, but I got through it. But just not having somebody, not to be able to do things in a physical space, like everything you had to quickly pivot to um, online services, like, because I could have just gone, down the street, not down the street, but somewhere, and dropped off that stuff myself or had a conversation if I wasn't recovering from a mastectomy, but most importantly, we weren't in a pandemic. But in terms of my journey, like getting my prescriptions, I had to, when I was going through the recovery, I was supposed to have a nurse come see me every couple of days.
Yeah.
She actually came the first day and she yelled at me from, not yelled, but she contacted me through the hallway, and she had my mom take pictures, and she had to show my mom the pictures. My mom had to show her the pictures so she can make sure I was okay. I also do physical therapy. Of course, that never happened. So, and it was a weird thing that happened with my arms. Like, for some reason, when I started walking, my arms would just rise up. So I had to like teach myself through videos to like figure out what that was. And then all of my appointments were delayed for a little while, but I had to go to the doctor to get my stitches removed. I had to keep those drains in, oh my God, for almost 8 weeks. That was awful. But anyone who's had to deal with those drains, what that's like. It's just terrible. I had to do it for a much longer period, but we got through it. I stayed, prayed up, stayed with my mom, and I got through it. As hard as it was, I got through it all. But challenges, but I had time to go through the challenges because I was off work. I tell women, make sure you do FMLA, you take off the time to rest your body. I rested my body, but I was productive during that time as well. So yeah, that was some of the challenges.
COVID spent a lot of, set a lot of things back, right? Did you have any challenges that you'd see, like starting your organization? Like, was that, other than the repetitiveness of the legalities of it, were there any people, like naysaying or, asking you, why are you doing this? Because, I know, how do I say, you have a vision, right? And sometimes it's your vision and people don't understand what you're up to.
Yeah, I've had a few people that say like, why would you tell all your business like that? Like, you should, again, things that come down from our generations, like you shouldn't tell people all your information like that. So those are the type of like naysayers I had. But for the most part, but also I had the opposite, where people like, you're so brave.
Yeah.
Because of you, I went and got a mammogram for the first time. Because of hearing your story, I'm sharing my story. I'm also starting a nonprofit in my state, my city. So I was able to get the positive side of that too. But I did have a couple of people saying, I don't understand why you would put all your business out there. I'm like, well, it's my choice, my decision, my vision. And I want to make sure, I like that rhyme, my decision, my vision. And
I'm about to, look, you see, I grabbed a piece of paper and I'm about to write it down.
My decision, my vision, and I'm going to do my thing. And here we are, 4 years later, 4 years of service. Okay. And full vulnerability and transparency here. So
my vision, that's going to be my thing when I post my vision, my vision. And I love that. I love it because it is your decision and it is your vision. And you got some hearts on that too. Good. Somebody says, good for you.
Thank you.
Someone says, yeah, my vision, my vision.
Hey.
We're all taking, thanks, Bina. We're all taking that one. My cancers, yep, sister in pink, we got that. And then some hearts, you know, because I think that's it, right? I think you have to see that vision for yourself, and then you just have to kind of go for it. And you kind of have to say, you know, it's going somewhere, whether people see it or not. And hopefully people will come along for the ride. And, you know, and now look at you on the other side of that. So tell me really quickly, I know you just had a big event. So tell me about the event you had and how that went. And I posted a little bit about it on my Instagram as well yesterday. So tell me how that went.
It went pretty well.
You guys look like you were outside with it.
We were outside, and I was having hot flashes, but we got through it. It was our annual Pink Walk. It was the third time that we did it, and it's something that we're going to continue. And I wanted to keep it in Brooklyn because that's where I went through my journey. I love Brooklyn, even though I don't live in Brooklyn right now. But we basically walked the streets of Brooklyn. It's a short walk. We walked from the Barclays Center to the event space, which is like Washington and Atlantic. So we just did a short walk, and then we went and I told my story. And then we had a couple of experts, a mental health expert, answer questions, but also provide their own journeys. We had a doctor as well who shared that his mother had a very rare type of breast cancer, and it sparked him to go out and start his own community clinic to help us through cancer, but just something specific for us. So it was amazing. And then we did some painting and sipping, and I wish I could show y'all my terrible painting, but it was fun and relaxing. It was community building. I met some amazing new people as well. And I collect people along the way, and I always tell them, you know, we go together like white on rice now. So you're going to come with me on my journey. I'm going to call on you to help someone or just have community. Let's just have fun. So we had a good time. And I'm so happy that I have great community partners like Soca Run Festival and GTFC to come out and help us with this walk everywhere. It's 2 run clubs, and they're like doing their thing, and it's amazing that every year they come back and they say, let's do this again. And it's regardless of how many people show up. We're going to be out there. Rain, sleet or snow. It rained last year. This year we had sunshine. It was amazing. It was cold the first year. We walked across the Brooklyn Bridge and almost got blown away, but it was amazing.
Oh no.
It was amazing. It was so, the wind was so strong. I felt like I was in Chicago with that wind. So
I know, right? It's serious here. So what advice would you give someone who is going through the journey?
Sure. First of all, I just did this I just told my story 5 minutes ago, right before we started this. What I want to tell everyone is, first of all, if you're in the screening phase, make sure that when you are checking your boobs, that you get very comfortable, and your pecs, may get breast cancer too. Get to know them so well that the moment that something is different, that you take action. This is a call to action so that we can get diagnosed earlier and have a better prognosis or a better chances of surviving. So do that and get so comfortable with them that the moment that something's different, you go to the doctor and you advocate for yourself. If you are recently diagnosed, my advice to you is to go through all the steps. It is very scary. Your feelings are valid. Work with your community-based organizations that can connect you with women who look like you, that can help you through your journey. But most importantly, get all the steps. Get your diagnosis before you make a decision without having all the information. I had a friend recently that had a double mastectomy because she was scared and she didn't even need one. But it made her feel better. I'm not judging her decision, but had she waited, you know, she would have known that it wasn't necessary, but it was what made her feel comfortable. But try your best. Call your community-based organizations. Reach out to AfroPink. I can find someone to help you throughout any part of your journey. If you're in treatment, try to find other women that can give you tips along the way. And then in survivorship, build community. There's not a lot of support in survivorship. I think that's more attention being brought to it. But this is an unfortunate club that we are a part of. So let's, make the best of it, and let's get to know each other. Let's have fun, because now we can lean on each other, love on each other, and also help others as well. So that's the advice I would give.
So I think that answers the next question about how you're building community. I think your whole thing is building community. So that's your entire thing, with building community within the Black community to increase awareness of. There you are.
Okay, there
Am I
you are.
back?
Yes, you're back. Yep.
The signal gods
Yeah.
are like giving us a heart. And so I think that's your
Mm-hmm.
whole agenda, right? Is to build
Mm-hmm.
community within the Black community
Mm-hmm.
specifically, but not limited to.
Not
Yeah,
limited to it.
I think this does not limit you at all, because I think what you're building and what you're providing can be for anybody along like you said, along their journey.
Absolutely.
ML5287 says great info, and I think that it's important that we all have whichever organization you want to reach out to, somewhere to go. And like you said, hey sis. I mean, it's funny because you were talking about earlier how you had questions about things to do during your treatment. And I can remember some of the things I had during my treatment where I was like, who do I ask this to?
Right.
And you have to almost ask to another person who's been through it, because somebody else doesn't know what you're talking about.
Right.
And not because don't
Right.
mean it, don't, not heartfelt from where they're coming from. It's literally like, this is draining here. What do I do with it?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And you're like, I don't, have you not done it? Or my stomach feels like this. Does that happen to you?
Right.
So I think that this is important, that we do create space for community like this to happen. So really quickly, I'm going to ask you 2 more questions, quick questions, because we got 2 minutes. One is, I just want you to say out loud where you service, even if it's the whole United States, and your name of your organization, and how people can contact you, because this will not only just be on video, it's going to also be live in podcast form. So I want people to hear that out loud.
Absolutely. All of the United States, but we're based out of New York. We're a virtual company. We are a meet you where you are organization. I don't care where you are, whether you're on your couch like you are right now, or in your car, in the community, wherever you are. I'm literally at a community meeting right now. And you can find us. You can follow us on AfroPink INT on let's see, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. That's the best way to contact us. Or otherwise, you can give an email, or you can email us at info@afropink.org. You can check out our website, afropink.org. And you can give us a call at 212-603-9851. So that's all the ways you can contact us.
So ladies and gentlemen, please make sure you're liking, following, sharing, subscribing AfroPink as well. Thanking Vina for the amazing work she's doing in our community. I know 30 minutes goes fast. So Vina, this is your last question. And I never tell people this question because I always like it to be a surprise, even though every episode has it, but nobody actually listens. So then they, what it is. So buckle in, girl, buckle in.
Okay, I'm scared.
I don't tell anybody this one. I don't write it on anybody's thing, because it's always the humdinger, as they say. Most people know me, in addition to the show, they know me because I save all these cats, and everybody's like, cats. Oh my gosh, the cats. So my question, and you know what they say about curiosity in the cats, is what are you curious about?
Oh my God, everything. So I'm curious about everything. So I am a natural lifelong learner. I'm the type of person that reads the same cereal box every day. I'm the person that will be Googling, and someone says something, I'm Googling it right away. But I love to learn. So I'm naturally curious about everything, because I know a little about many things. I don't know a lot about a few things. That's how you say that. So it's those few things, or I'm also trying to learn a lot more about the little things that I know a lot about, if that makes any sense. So I'm curious about everything. Trust me. I'm constantly learning. I'm curious about all the latest and greatest technologically advanced treatments in breast cancer. Hello, those types of things. How I can raise funds better for AfroPink, like the big people donate to these big organizations, but they forget about the ones that's in the community, and we need funds too to operate. So don't forget about us. So I'm curious about that. I can go on and on and on and on, but most importantly, I want to know how we can get that 40% down to zero for Black women dying from breast cancer. American Cancer Society said 38% the other day. So how can we get that down to zero? I'm curious about that. So maybe that works.
Get it done. So you guys, we are 1 minute over. I apologize for that. My decision, vision. I love it. I think everybody's going to take that one. So thank you very much. And as we wrap up, because we are in Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and so we're going to wrap that up in a week. But what I think I would like to challenge everyone with, and I'm going to set this forth as far as probably Vina would be with me here with Afro Pink, is don't just let it be October.
Correct.
Right? This is something we're trying to, Vina and Afro Pink are trying to create that awareness around breast cancer. That should not just be for October. It should be forever October. All the time, you should make yourself, definitely be aware that it is out there. And as Vina said in the beginning, we always think it's not going to happen to us, but it could. We don't want it to, but it can. So, Vina, I really applaud you, one, for getting over the hump. Congratulations. You look beautiful. And if you guys go to Afro Pink, which you definitely should, you will see Vina in this amazing pink lipstick that she has on now. But if you see the other post, the lipstick is brighter and bolder, and it is unbelievably amazing. Like you give me lipstick, and I told you that the very first time I saw you, was like, she is amazing. That lipstick is amazing.
Hey.
So you guys, thank you so much, Vina, for joining us. Again, this is the Taryn Lamb Show. This is the 135th episode, season 9, episode 15. You guys, my decision, my vision. Be good to yourself and each other. Until next time. Fire. Oh, yes.
I was going to say, you said Forevertober. Yes, I love that. So let's put that in there as well. So Forevertober, and my decision is my vision. Love it. So thank you for the opportunity. This was amazing.
I feel like all the time, we should be making this awareness all the time. And I know everything has its own month, but I also feel like, they always say, oh, we don't have to end this campaign, if you will, at the end of October.
That's right. Exactly.
So everybody be good to yourself and each other. Until next time, this is the Taryn Lamb Show. Thanks, Vina.
It was lovely. Bye.
My decision,
Yay, bye.
Right. Bye.